The new European Bauhaus Self-Hub will introduce myself, Michael Salka, on behalf of the Institute for Advanced Architecture of Catalonia, as well as Manuel Garcia Barbero on behalf of the Cesefor Foundation. Manuel, thanks. We'll focus on two of our particular success stories today. These two programs on industrialized wood construction and the prefab training school, MaderAula. But before I get to that, I have to acknowledge that the South Hub, in the spirit of Southern hospitality, has grown dramatically. We've only begun in 2024 with the commencement of this new European Bauhaus Alliance project, but have since grown from these 3 founding partners in Spain and Italy to now a total of 17 organizations across 5 countries, adding also partners in Cyprus and in Turkey. So a warm welcome to representatives of those organizations who are here today. Thank you very much for traveling to join us, or like some of you are from Barcelona, thanks for traveling a short distance to join us. We will focus on a couple of the core trainings that deal with timber construction in this presentation. But between these 17 partners, the South Hub operates about 16 different new European Bauhaus trainings that range from topics to producing building materials from local waste using binders made from plants and algae, to reimagining spaces using augmented reality. So quite a large scope of trainings. I invite you to talk with the other partners from these organizations as you see them at the conference today, or to look at that further catalog online. For now, a couple of our trainings would deal with this acceleration of timber construction within Spain. Present first is the Advanced Architecture of Catalonia's professional program in building with industrialized wood, use the English title. This program is presented in Spanish to address the national industry. It is a 7-week and 3-credit program that is accredited by the University of Lleida. So as Aneta mentioned, this means that it is a program that requires some contribution in terms of measurable work and evaluations on behalf of the participants. Nonetheless, we wanted to make it very accessible, people who are working and already in the industry. So for that reason, we curated a hybrid curriculum that combines these online classes and lectures that can be done after work hours with some discrete periodic visits to sites that occur mainly on the weekends. The profile is also quite broad, targeting architects and designers, but additionally engineers or property developers or investors who might be interested in making these buildings come to fruition but not necessarily designing them themselves. So this hybrid curriculum varies between our seminars, which are in person and are more immersive experiences that are balanced with these online sessions that, again, can be balanced with a working schedule that span a total of 7 weeks. And this is all premised by the incredible opportunity we see for timber construction to help mitigate the climate crisis, as well as the incredible opportunities it has to improve the quality and the experience of our built environment. And this is not just in terms of sequestering carbon in timber as a building material, but it's a phenomenon that we understand is operating across the entire value chain timber, from the way that can incentivize sustainable forest management, as well as enable design for deconstruction and circular reuse. So we have these multiple possible benefits, from renewable source material to promoting sustainable forest management, storing carbon, as well as its suitability for industrialized construction, being lightweight, so easy to machine and prefabricate, performing multiple functions as structure and insulator, and then enabling all of these prefabrication actions that make the site much less disrupted during this construction. So that's not to try and educate you in depth on the entire timber process, but to say that you wanted to tackle all of these different aspects of what the benefits of timber construction are in our training. So it's not just about designing or building with timber. We wanted to take these professionals and sort of guide them through this entire value chain. We'll begin with our first seminar in person, that is in Barcelona at the IAAC Forest Lab in the Cultural and Natural Park, where we provide an introduction to industrialized wood designing and construction, the broad framing. We then talk about public procurement strategies, again, how we can help these projects come to be, not just their design, but also through their procurement and regulation, as well as both issue real estate investment. And we try to inspire some of our trainees in the beginning with a few of our interesting prototypes that combine timber with aspects like food production and energy production as constructions from our master's students. We then take them on a tour of some of the most prominent recent timber constructions in Barcelona area, including the Gabriel Garcia Marquez Library, which you'll hear much more about, Consum Arquitectura, during our keynote speech at the end of today's program, as well as the Terrazas para la Vida social housing building, which is not yet completed in this photo, but is now completed and has a greenhouse on top that doesn't feature here yet. And the Cesefor social housing building to talk about how different typologies can incorporate these mass timber construction systems. Then when our trainees go back to their respective lives, they join us online mostly for what we call session 1 and InnovaWood 2, a 4.5-hour online program where they get to more of the technicalities of designing and structures, as well as using building information modeling to produce schedules of run contact collision tests and so forth. And then we take a deep dive into a case study, in this case, the Pisa residential building by Perez and Toral architects, again, to understand some of the best practices of this timber construction in the area. We then have another online session where we talk about other issues that are very particular to timber construction, such as acoustics and how we can mitigate them with different surface finishes and ceiling treatments, for instance, as well as workflows to try and optimize the potentials or prefabrication and make these construction timelines very accelerated. And we take another deep dive into a case study building, in this case, the Salka Catalonia building by Buenos architects. Given some of this design framings and exposure to some exciting completed buildings, we then have our next in-person seminar in Galicia. So we move to the other coast of Spain. And we look at industrialized the construction here, starting all the way from the forest, where we talk about sustainable management and rotation of trees. So our trees get a very intuitive understanding of the kind of resource that is being processed. And then we go to the CLT factories and the sawmills themselves. I should have mentioned earlier, this program is not just operated by IAAC, but it's a direct collaboration with INSA and Cesefor as two of the leading sawn timber and engineered timber product manufacturers within Spain. And also in conjunction with our MaderAula network, where there's a much larger stakeholder network of different manufacturers, designers, and interested municipalities in the country that are trying to accelerate this transition. So in that way, we have access to these facilities, and we're very grounded in how our trainees can then apply these learning to practice. Returning back to our remote programming, then our students go through another section of structures to understand the technicalities of these buildings, as well as another processes lesson about budgeting and emissions calculations, doing some simple life cycle assessment. We then take another deep dive into another Consum Arquitectura project, this R-Shelves residential building in Madrid, and continue this online session with more techniques about joints and fittings, assembly systems, and the, again, modular prefabricated rapid deployment of these buildings on site, which brings us to another case study, the residential building by KMG Arquitectura L100, that is this rapidly deployed insulated panel system. We then had our final in-person session in Catalonia, coming back to where the program began in our lab site, also in Fort, where we finish our discussions about modular fabrication and connection hardware, as well as the fit opportunities for 3D CAD and CAM software to connect those building information models directly to the fabrication processes. We have a nice lunch, and then as sort of a celebratory act for our trainees make their own cross-threaded timber panels. We conduct our own forest management on the sites. They use woven timber to press their own panel, and to get that very tactile impression for the head of material that they're working with. Finally, we celebrate with a nice diploma and cocktail, bringing in the Yumi of the experience to the setting. And thus far, we had 2 editions of this program. The first launched in October of 2024, the second in September of 2025, with 46 trainees to date. So we're not achieving those enormous numbers that come purely from online programs. So we think having this hybrid online and in-person experience gives people more a comprehensive education for those who can attain it, where we have other courses that provide more of that granular online only experience. That being said, auch ein Dank haben wir gemacht. Vicky? Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. So we are not an educational or training facility, actually. We are a rara avis in that sense.
We actually are a research center, which was born in the forestry, and we decided to make a big effort in the training, as our partners, as industrial partners, ask us if we could help them to solve the problem, the bottleneck that the construction industry has in timber, which is the lack of of trade people and of professionals that are able to address the extreme big demand that timber construction is having in Europe. In Spain. And therefore, we as a research center, we started programs of training following a startup methodology. We are not trainers in nature. We are professionals with a lot of experience. And then what we started is to develop minimal viable products. That's our philosophy, addressing precisely the things that our industrial partners are needing. They they are needing some kinds of profiles, and therefore we start making very fast, very intensive courses that have the primary intention of infecting. We want to infect the construction sector uh, of with the virus of timber construction. So our main approach is to infect them with timber so that they are willing to work more with it, to integrate more timber in the menu and their diets, and all our efforts to go in this direction. Yeah. Well, for that, we have these on-site courses with different kinds. This is prefabrication and assembly course. This is a CLT assembly course. And this one is finishings, exterior finishings. And this one is the first course is paid for high uh, for assembly in higher levels. We we also have we believe in masculine timber construction. Of course, this is the natural entry in countries like Spain, where the tradition is lacking. But we think we have to very fast try to put in the menu also the light frame construction, which is a very competitive way of building in prefabrication light framing. You will find more information in the Q codes. We also do free of charge webinars in which we try to infect a broader uh, quantity of professionals, and we address many different approaches of timber construction. As we are reacting to the emergency of the lack of professionals, we act very decisively in ways that allows everybody to get infected fast. And the rate of infection, I have to say, it's going quite well. We started actually 4 years ago to these activities. And as we focus our activities in a manner that everybody can uh, get the information the way online and so on, so we are able to go everywhere and, and somehow have an effect in the whole area from Spain. To increase our effect, we are starting so training hubs that are already beginning to be created, in which we can then more effectively affect to more people. And we are already connecting with the Spanish-speaking world. It's, of course, a natural thing that every effort that we do in Spanish is able to affect positively to the countries, the professionals that speak Spanish, that are willing to get this information. In that sense, what we try to do is to help the American and South American countries to not to escape the United States technical world, but to be able to enjoy the advances that the European Union are developing in timber construction, so that they can enjoy these advances also in real time. Sorry. We lack in Spain, we lack in Spain of training facilities for the practical part of the whole thing, and therefore we are building this infrastructure, MaderAula Lab. We are building MaderAula Lab so that we can build up to 3 stories inside in real site in a secure environment to train everybody, all the value chain of timber construction without any security problems, and that all the time that it's required a real construction. We are doing this already with pre-courses in which we are constructing parts of the building with the people that are interested in first-hand experience on timber construction. And this is the place we are really making the building, and these are the first academy that we built with our students, pretty church. And I think that 4-6. Oh, the last one. We created also Culum Madera. These are our partners, the partners that I pay for all these courses and all this. If this is the industry I was mentioning before, we have more partners to add here. Yes, and thanks to them, we are able to make everything possible, because making buildings, it needs materials, it needs all those things that you cannot pay as easily. So they are providing the materials for free, and over the top, they are paying an annual fee. And of course, we want to thank our partners from Cesefor, because without the passions, the whole thing wouldn't be possible. So that was it. Please, thank you very much.